A spiritual awakening is mandatory.
Life can be a contradiction.
But it doesn't have to be a lie.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of Contradiction. Myself, Bernard Alvarez, and Roxy Lopez have developed this particular series to help talk about topics that are happening in our lives and in the world, and to help us come to terms with some of the many contradictions that we must deal with in our day-to-day lives. In this week's episode, we're going to be discussing money and the economic paradigm, talk about a contradiction, especially for those of us who are very spiritual and into activism. So without further ado, let me bring Roxy Lopez on and welcome her to the show. Hello, Roxy. Welcome.
Thank you, and welcome to everyone who's viewing. We only hope to inspire and connect with you all on some really important contradictions that exist in our lives that I think hold us back. So thanks for joining us today.
And Roxy, what about money and the economic paradigm? I know that we all say money is the root of all evil. A lot of us really have a distaste for money. But is it money that is the problem, the economic paradigm that's the problem, or is it greed that's the problem?
In my opinion, it is the misuse. And let me start with this. Do you ever have these thoughts? Let's say you are at a mall and you see a blouse that you want, and it's $112, and you just have to have it, but you don't have the money to buy it. Does that mean, I want you to process how you felt, all right, in that moment. Do you start saying to yourself, well, I'm going to manifest the money because I want it? Are you going to say, well, I really don't need that blouse, or for men, you know, a pair of shorts, or whatever it is that you want, a piece of equipment for your computer, doesn't matter. The point that I'm trying to make is, what are the thought patterns that you go through when you cannot buy or purchase that of what you want? And do you go through guilt? Do you say, well, gosh, you know, really, I shouldn't be spending money like this because I really need more money for food, or I really should pay attention to my rent, or whatever. And you go into this spiral that doesn't make you feel good. The influence of that thought really takes you on more of a downward spiral for most people than it does an upward spiral. Now, let me tell you the trick. Again, we are all evolving. And we're evolving in our thought patterns, our works, our deeds, what we say and think at all times. So everything that we think begins to manifest. And, you know, we can become our own worst enemy. I know I certainly have done that before. I become my own worst enemy due to the fear that I get into. So let's go back to the mall and let's replay this. Now I have low self-esteem because I don't have enough money, and I saw Britney Spears on a show the other night, and she was wearing the most fabulous dress, and when I looked it up on the internet, that dress was 12 grand. I can never afford it. See the thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay. So it affects my self-esteem in not a good way. Is it boosting or inspiring me? No. Money. Money, in my opinion, is a tool. It's a tool of trade. It's a tool of how we trade or buy or purchase whatever, food, clothing, housing, whatever. It is what we have designed. It is the use of money that gets us, you know, on this show tonight. The use of money that bought me this computer. I don't know anyone that I could trade services for a computer or for my rent or whatever. So let's take a look at this a little bit closer. Is it really money that is evil, or is it our perception of money and our wants and our needs that turn us into this downward spiral of the haves and the have-nots? So let's go back to the mall. So I'm at the mall and I see a blouse and it's $112 or $120 and I don't have the money to buy it. Should I feel guilty? No. Should I feel guilty that I want it? No. I should not feel guilty. I'm appreciative of the construction of the blouse, the designer that created it. Did the designer create it to cause evil in the world? No. Does it look good when I try it on? It's very flattering. It looks lovely. All right. Should I feel guilty about that because I look good in the blouse? We have to go back to what are our reasons. We can have whatever we want. We really can, people. And I know that's very difficult for people who struggle with just buying food. I know that. I have friends in my life that have struggles like this. But let me tell you something. Change the way you think, and you'll change the way you exist here on this planet. The bottom line is we've been socially engineered to have these thoughts and these thought patterns. I firmly believe it. And only we can recreate how we experience money in the world. And the contradiction is this: money seems to cause a lot of problems. Money seems to fund wars and bad things. Money also provides food on our tables. Money also provides us that blouse at the mall that we want to buy and wear when we have our 20th anniversary with our husband and we want to look pretty as the day he met us. We have to realize how to separate the value of money. It's intrinsic to the value we place on ourselves. That's all I'm trying to say. Don't allow money to degrade your own personal value. You are valuable without money. You are valuable to the world. What you are made up of, money can't buy.
When it comes to money, there is a certain negativity that comes to it. We see it being abused many, many times over, especially when it comes to these multi-billion-dollar investments, to quote unquote, to put a senator in their pocket or to pass some type of legislation, which is not going to be helpful to humanity. My idea and my new intention with money is that if I have it and I am able to feel good about myself and not have to live. There's a saying a gentleman always says to me, may you never have to do without. So if I can live in a world where I am not doing without the basic essentials and anything extra, I can help to promote a great, let's say, a local childcare program or some type of something to help the community, then of course I want to utilize money in that particular fashion. That is me intrinsically. That's who I am. I don't ask for a lot. I don't like to be too flashy or anything like that. But the reality of it is that, you know, money is a tool. The economic paradigm stinks. It's horrible. The World Bank, the fiat money system, that's a whole nother show. But the idea of money in the economic paradigm and the contradiction, and again, that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about the contradiction of money and the economic paradigm. What can it do that's positive? What can it do that's negative? How does the use of money in our life make us feel and create this, well, for lack of a better term, cognitive dissonance, which we'll get into in a future episode, about our feelings for it. I would have loved to have had those $25 sneakers. It would have made me feel good. I'm looking for winter shoes right now. It snows here. I needed something that's sturdy, and I couldn't afford it. So yeah, it does make you feel bad, and it does create this downward spiral, but money is not evil in itself. It's how we use it. So as we wrap this up, Roxy, tell me, how do we wrap this up? How do we move beyond the contradiction? Is there a way to move beyond the contradiction?
Again, I think it's our attitude and our perception. So I also, the counterpart to just going into a downward spiral of a lack, I would want to plug into abundance. Again, I'm allowed and you're allowed to have those shoes for whatever reasons. They were created to wear. Somebody designed them and you're allowed. That's not the point. It's our perception and our attitude towards money. If we allow ourselves to tap into abundance, and look, I'm not saying this is easy, but we change the way we think, and then we change the way we act, and then we change the way we behave and all the rest of it, and it will manifest. And we are creators and co-creators. So it's a matter of choice. Do I really want those shoes? Do I really want that blouse? I will make it happen.
Hmm.
It will happen. And it shouldn't happen. It should not happen because I feel guilty or robbed or have a resentment towards those who can buy them. See, this is how we cause such it's so ununifying, if that's even a word, for each other, And so I say we change our
I
attitude
agree.
and we plug into abundance and creativity and create a way. Maybe one day you'll design a pair of shoes like that yourself.
Yep.
I think sky's the limit.
Yeah.
So, remember,
Life is a contradiction.
but it doesn't have to be a lie. We'll see you next week.
Bye bye.